This is getting the boat ready for the new ceiling. The old carpeted ceiling is out everywhere except for the pop-up section of roof. The freezer had to be laid down on its side, and the microwave was put here to get it out of the way, to make access for putting the ceiling in. I've cut this foam to the shape of one side of the cabin ceiling. And because the cabin is symmetrical, it can be used as a template for cutting out the other side of the ceiling. This is 2-inch foam. It's styrofoam with a vapor barrier on one side and that shiny infrared reflector on the other side. I'm putting it in with the infrared reflector facing the deck. This is just a test fit to verify that the panels fit the ceiling of the boat before I do the next step, which is to cut some fiber reinforced panels to match the foam that I had just cut out. This FRP fiber reinforced panel is fire resistant, and it's used in backsplashes and sometimes whole walls in kitchens and places that you want to clean easily. It has a slightly textured surface, and it looks nice. So it's a nice finish layer for this project. Getting the other panels out of the cabin on a windy day. So this is how it's going to go, is there'll be the foam underneath, and then the FRP panel is the surface you see. These are LED lights for on the sides of 18-wheeler trailers, and they come with this nice rubber grommet or bezel that hides the hole that you cut for it. You get a hole saw that's the right size for the grommet, cut a hole through the FRP, shove the grommet in the hole, and then shove the light in the grommet. So I'm cutting all the holes in the FRP and the foam panel at the same time, just going straight through both of them, and it just takes a while because each time you cut a hole there's a plug of styrofoam and a little disc of FRP that have to be cleared from the hole saw. And now I'm just going along and fitting the lights in the holes. The grommet goes in the hole. The wires for the light get threaded through the grommet, and then I push the light in through the grommet and it locks in place. I'll be repeating the same process for this red one. Sometimes I have to clear the hole of any obstructions. Then the grommet in the hole. Then the wires through the grommet. And finally shove the light down into the grommet. And repeat as necessary until done. It looks really nice. It reminds me of either a beach with shells, but jewels instead of shells, or a starry sky. The random placement of the lights looks a lot nicer than trying to get them in any orderly pattern. Now I'm cutting the panel in half to make it easier to install in the cabin. The two halves go in a lot easier than a full panel. I took a bunch of fasteners out of the ceiling, and some of them were for things that I wanted to keep, like these eyes for rope and stuff on the deck. And so I found ways to either brace the wrench above the panel and then hold the panel up with the photo tripod. I came up with an even better use of the photo tripod. Its legs can be adapted to stand on any surface, and its head can be adjusted to just about any angle. So if you take some Velcro and attach a tool to where the camera would go on the tripod head, then that tool can be held in any position on the inside of the boat while I work the other half of the fastener on the outside of the boat. I call it Tripod Buddy. I'm claiming this as a copyrighted idea, and anybody who uses it should send me a beer. This is Rope Buddy. It works like Tripod Buddy to hold a fastener still while I go to the other side and work the other half of the fastener. I just tie the wrench off to any place convenient, and the rope prevents the wrench from swinging all the way around in a circle. So if I'm twisting the other way on the other side, it works out. These are the lights. There's low-level red lighting, which is enough to see your way around in here, but doesn't ruin your night vision. And then there's bright red light, which is definitely bright enough to read a map by. It'll preserve some of your night vision, but you can see really well. This is low-level white light. There's really just two lights, one above the table and another one that's halfway between the kitchen and the hatch where you come into the cabin. It lets you see to work in the kitchen pretty well. And this is bright white light. And it is really bright. It's a lot like fluorescent lighting in a workplace where there's a lot of fluorescent light around. And it's very diffuse lighting. It doesn't cast shadows. And I can switch between the different circuits and have a disco in my boat. This is what it looks like in the daytime. Again, I think the random placement works a lot better than trying to put them in any particular pattern. There's been no attempt to make a flashing or something at the edge to blend it in. Every circuit is soldered, painted with liquid electrical tape, wrapped in vinyl electrical tape, and then the vinyl tape is secured with zip ties so that when the glue goes bad, the zip ties still hold the tape on to insulate the wires. And there's a lot more wires in the boat than there used to be. Each circuit has a label attached to the wires behind the panel, so I know where it goes. There's 4 switches that control the ceiling. Low red, high level red, low level white, high level white. And then the other switches control other things.